My name is Dick Hanson. This part of the program is designed to introduce you to different styles of teaching in the classroom. As teachers, we are often faced with the question, why do students fail to achieve? Traditionally, we identify a variety of deficits in the students, like poor self-esteem, low levels of motivation, or high anxiety in the classroom. The answer to the question, why do students fail to achieve, lies in the nature of the relationship between teacher and student. Effective classroom performance is the culmination of a relationship between two people, teacher and student, and is therefore not the responsibility of only one person. The purpose of this presentation is to discuss 6 different ways teachers relate to students. As a preface, remember 2 things. First, no single teaching style should be judged superior to any other, and secondly, each style should be considered in terms of the class of students present and their changing needs and demands. The first type of teacher is teacher as expert. This person seeks to transmit relevant findings and fundamental concepts to the students. This teacher also attempts to ensure that the students have mastered these concepts. The characteristic behaviors of this teacher include lecturing, a high degree of scholarly organization, and a great deal of question asking and answering in the classroom. The second type of teacher is as formal authority. This individual sets goals and clarifies the procedures for attaining them. It is important for this individual to control his or her class and to maintain quality control in the students. Characteristically, this teacher defines the course structure, sets firm deadlines, and establishes the classroom ground rules for discussion and decorum. To introduce the students to the interests and concerns of people already working in the field is the primary goal of the teacher as socializing agent. This third teaching strategy involves discussing with the students the paths of entry into the inner circle of the field. This teacher helps students clarify career paths and future professional aspirations. The teacher is a competent and knowledgeable model for students. The intellectual and creative growth of the students is the primary goal of the teacher as facilitator. This teacher desires to stimulate student growth in the direction of the student's own interests and strengths. This teacher is interested in removing whatever is blocking the students from realizing their full potential. Characteristically, this teacher seeks to help students clarify interests, develop skills, and help students learn to solve problems. This teacher will often use innovative learning and teaching experiences to accomplish these goals. The fifth teaching typology is teacher as ego ideal. This teacher wants to convey to students his or her own excitement, value, and challenge. This is done through an enthusiastic approach and a deep commitment to the student. This teacher models competence and enthusiasm and demonstrates the worthwhileness of the personal commitment to the field. Amusing stories or jokes, gripping illustrations, and case studies are often a part of the style of this teacher. The final category is teacher as person. He or she engages students in a satisfying relationship. He or she conveys to students the full range of human needs and skills relevant to one's intellectual activity. This teacher validates his or her own identity and also seeks to validate the identity of the student. Characteristically, this teacher is very self-revealing and self-disclosing and will express personal needs and intentions to the students. There is no way a teacher can meet all the needs of all the different types of students through any single strategy. An effective teacher recognizes the dynamic nature of the classroom situation. Teaching is a skillful enterprise. Being skillful means being able to effectively achieve the range of teaching strategies and handling disruptive emotions when they appear. Being a skillful teacher means competency, empathy, fairness, enthusiasm, and authenticity. Effective teachers do have characteristic strategies. However, they are able to move across the strategies flexibly in a balanced manner. They fuse apparently mutually exclusive styles like formal authority and facilitator. Effective teachers are committed to reality. They use strategies that they perceive to be consistent with the level of the class. Manifestations of trust, liking, and respect are sincere. Learning about teaching strategies is no panacea. It is hoped that by understanding what we are as teachers and through understanding what we may become, we may help students succeed.
I'm Dan Wanner. My students and I are here to tell you about student learning styles and demonstrate them with a role play. Our purpose is to help you become aware of how different student learning styles affect what happens in your classroom. This is part of the instructional package on teaching and learning styles from the Faculty Development Institute Teaching Learning Styles Subcommittee. While recognizing that any approach to faculty development needs to take into account course content, the preferred teaching style of the faculty member, the preferred learning styles of the students, and the educational environment, in this part of the program, I want to present the Reichman Student Learning Styles Typology as a way of looking at teaching and learning with the focus on the learner. My students and I will role-play a classroom situation in which 6 different student learning styles interact with one teaching style. Then, I will present the Reichman Student Learning Styles Typology, given in the handout titled Student Learning Styles. Following the presentation of the student learning styles, you will be asked to match the student behaviors in the role play with the specific student learning styles given in the discussion. I'd like to introduce my students. In the back row, Mary, Deb, Steve, and Mike, and in front, Tim and Kimberly. I play the role of a teacher. It's winter quarter, and I've just handed them a syllabus. We're going to be discussing this for the role play. Didn't you get a syllabus?
No, I don't have one.
Would you mind following along? What's your name?
Mike.
How much of this do you need to get an A?
The 4 graded papers in the workshop will count for 90% of your grade. The other 10% will be based on daily work.
Do we get to work with other people?
Yes, we will.
Can we work on our own if we want?
Sure.
What kind of papers do we have to write?
Our first paper will be an autobiographical phase. Mike, are you listening to this?
Yeah.
How long do these papers have to be?
About 1,500 words.
Can I get extra credit if I write more?
I want you to do your best, but writing more won't get you a better grade.
What's the least you can do and still pass?
Complete the daily assignments for a D and get at least a D on all 4 papers.
What do you want in these papers?
Write as much as you want to tell me about yourself and make it clear and interesting.
I feel funny writing my autobiography for strangers to read.
What other work are we going to do?
We're going to publish a newsletter.
How much is that worth?
It'll count the same as the first 2 papers. Okay, that about covers the syllabus. Mike, you haven't said anything. Do you have any questions?
No.
This seems like a lot of busy work.
What part seems like busy work?
Well, all these little drafts, they seem so unimportant. It seems like a lot of little things to get around to one paper. If I know how to do this without that, can I hand in just a term paper?
You want to do the work on your own. You don't want to be bothered by a lot of busy work. You want to just start the work, do it, and turn it in, right?
Yes, I'm saying that if I know how to do it, why can't I just turn in my own paper?
Yeah, Kim?
Isn't that kind of impersonal, though? I mean, don't we need those group things like the read-around? Isn't that a way to express ourselves? I know that I learn more from listening to what other people have to say.
Okay, thank you, Kim. That's what I hope will happen.
Do you grade on attendance?
Yes, part of the grade is based on attendance. And I'd like you here for at least the workshops. And the rest of the time, I'd like your participation, but no grade will be taken except on workshop days and during read-arounds. Okay? Class dismissed. The Reichman Student Learning Style Scale is an instrument developed by Tony Grasha and Cheryl Reichman, who have defined 6 different student learning styles based on students' attitudes toward learning, their views of teachers and peers, and their reactions to classroom procedures. These 6 styles are as follows. Independent. This response style is characteristic of the student who likes to think for himself. He prefers to work on his own, but he will listen to the ideas of others in the classroom. He learns the content he feels is important and is confident in his learning abilities. The avoidant student is not interested in learning course content in the traditional classroom. He does not participate with students and teachers in the classroom. He is uninterested or overwhelmed by what goes on in classes. The collaborative style is typical of the student who feels he can learn the most by sharing his ideas and talents. He cooperates with teachers and peers and likes to work with others. He sees the classroom as a place for social interaction as well as content learning. Dependent. This style is characteristic of the student who shows little intellectual curiosity and who learns only what is required. He sees teacher and peers as sources of structure and support. He looks to authority figures for guidelines and wants to be told what to do. The competitive style is exhibited by the student who learns material in order to perform better than others in the class. He feels he must compete with other students for the rewards of the classroom, such as grades or teachers' attention. He views the classroom as a win-lose situation where he must always win. Participant. This style is characteristic of the student who wants to learn course content and likes to go to class. He takes responsibility for getting the most out of class and participates with others when told to do so. He feels that he should take part in as much of the class-related activity as possible, but he does little that is not part of the course outline. The instrument that uses this typology to measure student learning styles is available from the Faculty Development Institute. It is a paper and pencil inventory called the Reichman Student Learning Style Scale. You will find a list of these styles in the handout titled Student Learning Styles. Now that you've seen my students role play 6 different learning styles, and now that you've heard the definition of these styles, try to match the students with the learning styles you think they are playing. If you wish, refer to the Student Learning Styles handout. To help you remember, I'll identify each of the students again and show you their behavior. This is Mary.
Can we work on our own if we want? Yes, this seems like a lot of busy work. Well, all these little drafts, they seem so unimportant. It seems like a lot of little things to get around to one paper. If I know how to do this without that, can I hand in just a term paper? Yes, I feel like if I know how to do this by myself, why can't I just turn it in?
This student's name is Mike.
No, I don't have one. Mike. Yeah. No.
This is how Deb acts.
How long do these papers have to be? What's the least you can do to pass? What do you want in these papers? Do you grade on attendance?
This is Kimberly.
Do we get to work with other people? I feel funny writing my autobiography for strangers to read. Isn't that kind of impersonal, though? I mean, don't we need the group things, those read-arounds? Isn't that a way to express ourselves? I know that I learn more from listening to what other people have to say.
Here you see Steve.
What kind of papers do we have to write? What other work are we going to do?
And this is Tim.
How much of this stuff do you need to get an A? Can I get extra credit if I write more? How much is that worth?
Once you've matched the students with the learning styles, form small groups and compare your identification of each of the roles with those of the others in the group. One or more of the following questions may be used to continue the discussion of student learning styles. Which of these students would you most like to work with in your classroom? Which would you least like to work with? Which of these students do you think would profit most from you as a teacher? Which would profit least? If you wish to examine your approach to each style, ask for the Student Learning Styles Discussion Questions handout from the Faculty Development Institute.